Well, good afternoon. It's a wonderful day. It's like 52. Still feels a little chilly. So that's what happens when you sit indoors too long writing in a hot word processor. The turkeys are gobbling. Our dogs are barking. And we have a moo cow coming down the road that has cancer that we're probably going to have to put down. So that's not pleasant. It's one of those beautiful banded cows. I don't know if you heard the term moo cow before, but in The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, James Joyce, capturing his youth, talks about the moo cow. And so we have ours. The news is, well, there's some very startling aspects. For one is to our friends out in California on the West Coast. There's a fierce storm. It's going to involve flooding and perhaps ground and clay and soil and houses sliding in what there is. There's an estimate that 37 million people are at risk. And the weather people are describing it like a river in the sky. I mean, just imagine the physics of it, that the air holds so much water and can just dump it and continuously dump it like happened in Texas years ago. So that's a pretty scary event. And that is a function of global warming. The warm air holds the water and then drops it, and that's what's happening now. So hopefully people will survive it. In the vice president's sweepstakes, that is on the Trump side of the coin, he's announced that there are two people he's considering. Tim Scott, a senator from South Carolina, and Governor Noem from South Dakota. I suppose he's playing to the stands, doesn't take them on, talks about them, whoever's considered. This is a game that usually happens after or as one has the nomination. And Trump is of the school, as were the Bushes, that if you act like it's true, for many people it becomes true, in the sense that he is the preordained candidate for president for the Republicans. And so if he talks like that and acts like that, everybody will think it's true. And so talking about who his vice president might be sort of fits that argument. Trump's prosecutor is wrestling with the mess down in Georgia. And she has asked the court to cancel the February 15th hearing because it's unnecessary now, because not only did she make a statement clearing it up, but there's no possible conflict involved. The judge has written to the defense counsel who brought the motion, and he wants to bring on the motion because he thinks there are things that are not truthful in what the prosecutor Willis has presented. So we'll see what happens. I think if I were the judge, I'd ask for a proffer and give notice to the prosecution to be prepared to answer certain things if they seem to have any credibility. But if not, I'd cancel the hearing and say, let's set a trial date. And so this response by the defense counsel does serve the purpose of delaying things. And that is one of the principal objectives of this gang, that they do that. It's interesting how Taylor Swift, who is a genius artist, I mean that, has managed also to show a dynamic presence in the political sphere and getting people to go vote and appearing so dramatically that Republicans are terrified of her. And, you know, we have MAGA misogyny when we talk about Republicans leading with Trump and going down the line, because they're all this way. But can you believe how violent the Republicans are about her right to express her views? I mean, even if she wasn't having this dramatic effect, but I guess it is because she's having this dramatic effect that they're very concerned about her visibility and how a person just coming forward, a citizen, and saying, you know, I really think this is wrong or right, and they would whip her down. So much for their notions of free debate is okay if it's you saying what they want to hear, not anything else. And then in the Middle East, the analysis of our strikes in that area, and you know, I wish we weren't making this about us. If we're going to be supporting peace in some fashion and Israel in some fashion and opposing Hamas in some fashion, that's different than us being the player who was shooting up through the area. And by now, we're asking questions about the strategic value of the hits and would it really make a difference. And if that doesn't send a notion of some weakness on our part to Iran, or are we trying to choose targets that are equivalent or similar to what the inspired operators for Iran are doing? And you know, we should be asking a question. What are we doing in Syria and Iraq? You know, we posture that we're doing one thing and then we do something else. So it's a staggering image we have. We find ourselves in the posture of saber rattling and then actually pulling them out of the scabbard, waving them, killing some people, destroying some things, and we're not over. So there's got to be some high-level conversations going on, or we will find ourselves in a broader, more violent, dangerous war. And, you know, we're being told we are getting citizens. You know, we announce we're going to do it, so we give you notice to move on so that maybe you're not affected by it. But we're still killing people, so that normally is not a basis for détente, and it's not a basis for some sort of agreement going forward. And I'm sure we have forces in our government that want to show those people, you know, do them in, hurt them. And we have these characters that want us to shoot into Iran. Who are these people? Do they know anything? Very dangerous group. So those are the things that are on my mind. I guess it's not a lot today because I'm so in depth in the brief I'm writing, which is due on Wednesday. So I'm not paying as much attention today. But the problems are there. Things are moving. And I think it's good that Biden got the vote he did. Not that we expected anything else, but there's a feeling of movement in his campaign. And that's critically important at home if we intend to retire from public life and perhaps put in prison Mr. Trump. So, glad you could be with me on my stride through the Cathedral of Trees. And be good to yourself, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.